Winning is your ability, every individual, to look yourself in the mirror one day at a time and say, today I gave it my very best. If you can do that and be honest with yourself, drive relentless, ruthless, uncommon accountability to yourself, and you do what you know you need to do personally, you do what you know you need to do in your business, you actually serve other people, you help make the world a better place every day. Everybody can do those things. And for me, you remain faithful. You are going to make more money than you could spend. You will have more success. You will win more in your life. It goes back to what I was saying earlier. Stop focusing on the scoreboard. Stop focusing on the things that you can control and focus on the disciplines that you can control. Silence the noise, silence the politics, silence the media, and do the things that'll cause you to win, and watch how you show up and win in your life.
Hey, Ben Newman, welcome to the show. I'm flipping so freaking honored to have you on the show, and it's just an honor to connect and drop massive wisdom on the show today. So thank you for being here. Appreciate you.
Well, Erica, I appreciate you, and you're holding me to a high standard. I hope I can share a few things, but the energy goes both ways, and certainly excited for the opportunity.
Oh, we know you're going to drop some wisdom today. And so I actually just want to jump right into it because I know we have a tight 30 and I just want to get as much wisdom as we can from you today. So it's a perfect time. We're start of a new year. And I know you being a top mindset and performance coach in the world, I would love to know, for all of us to kick off this new year, what would you say are the things we all need to gain clarity on, focus on, and equip ourselves to make this year not only the best, but to accomplish our goals and especially exceed them?
So before I answer the question, I'm gonna ask you a question. So I'm gonna because I think this will be fun for the listeners. When you hear New Year's resolution, what's the first thing that you think of? Honestly, the first thing that you think of.
Personally,
not necessarily for you, but as a whole, when it's like, oh, New Year's resolutions, what do you think about?
Personally, I think when that is said is a lot of people honestly not accomplishing their New Year's resolution. That's the first thing that I come to mind.
Yeah. Perfect honesty. Thank you. And I think that's the reality for so many of us. And so really the first thing I would say is stop saying a New Year's resolution. How about now you finally give yourself permission to step into the disciplines that you know that you're capable of having in your life, and then making that a choice every day how you live? How about that? That to me, I think is better, because everybody says New Year's resolution, and most people know like 70 to 80% of the people, they might not even try the first day. So I think we need to get rid of this idea of resolutions and turn towards creating discipline.
Okay, I love that you talk about discipline and standards. I know those are your hot words that you use a lot, and that's actually honestly one of my foundations of everything I do. And I believe creating discipline and standards in your life is at the top tier of really accomplishing big, big, audacious goals. And so I'd love if you could kind of drive that a little deeper of why discipline, self-discipline, and standards are so critical for accomplishing our goals, whether it be a New Year goal or whatever you want to call it, right?
Well, I think, so many individuals, they look up at the sky, they cast this vision. Here's what I want to do, and here's where I want to go, which is great. I mean, you have to have vision, you have to be able to think big, you have to have goals that you set. But most people look up, and then all they do is they wake up every day and they pray that those things happen. And that's not the way that success works. Success is a byproduct of great discipline from an understanding of what it takes to achieve those goals. So if you're focused too much on results and you haven't taken the time to reverse engineer the things that you say you want, and then to actually understand the disciplines that are going to cause you to get there, then our feelings end up dictating how we show up. So for years, I've been teaching a concept called standard over feelings.
Mhm.
And too many people, those feelings dictate how they show up. Oh, I had the best month I've ever had in the business. And then you stop doing what you're supposed to do. Or the business has been so hard and challenging, I don't feel like doing it today. I would encourage everybody, think of the period of time in your life, whether it was with your nutrition, whether it was with working out, whether it was with your career. Go back to the period of time when you were driving the highest level of success. I promise you, your discipline was every day. I promise you, your discipline was non-negotiable. I promise you, your discipline was not met with excuses. And I just encourage you to remind yourself that that was you and that you can continue to do those things. And when you get back to discipline, the scoreboard will take care of itself.
Absolutely. 100% agree. And so you talked about a couple things, reverse engineering. So if we could just kind of unravel that, what does that look like? Because I think about this all the time when I'm thinking about a goal. I'm like, okay, well, obviously I need to think about, okay, this is my vision, this is my goal, and that's my target. But we have to go from here to there, which is pretty, a big, big jump. So we need to reverse engineer and think about the small daily tasks we could do. At least that's the way I think of it. So if you could kind of walk us through how we could reverse engineer and reach our goal.
Absolutely. So I'm a big believer that there's a significant difference between focus and intentional focus. So what you just described is I'm focused, right? Here's where I want to go. So every day I'm going to work hard to get there. That's somebody that has focus, but the lack of clarity in just making the statement, I'm going to work hard, is not going to give you what you need in terms of understanding exactly what you have to do in order to drive that success. So intentional focus would say, I have a goal of generating $1 million of revenue for my business this year. Well, then I would encourage you, go back to what was the best month that you ever had in the business? Well, the best month I ever had was 200,000. Okay, well, 200,000 would mean you did that every month. You're going to be at 2.4 million. That's more than $1 million. So we know you know what it takes to have a month that could far exceed $1 million. What did you do in that month when you generated 200,000? How many phone calls did you make per day? How many in-person meetings did you keep? And then understand the behaviors that caused you to get the result. And then you have an opportunity to repeat the behaviors. So if by scrutinizing and having intentional focus driving what was the exact behavior, and then we identify the behavior, then it becomes a choice. And you either do it or you don't. If you liked how the 200,000 felt, then you're probably going to say, maybe I was thinking too small at $1 million. Let's go for the 2.4 million. Why couldn't I do that every month? And then remember, heading into a new year, too many people protect themselves with their goals. If you can understand what your highest performance looked like in the past, and we can scrutinize and find out exactly what it takes through intentional focus, then think bigger, go for it. Because if you fall a little bit short at 2 million, the last time I checked, 2 million is twice $1 million, and nothing bad is going to happen to you if you hit a $2 million revenue goal on an original goal of $1 million.
Absolutely.
So that's just an example.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about this. We all know the saying, motivation isn't lasting. We could self-motivate ourselves, right? But there is a bigger drive at play. And when I think about a lasting motivation or, a lasting thing that drives me, I have certain things that I think about. And that one of the things for myself is identity, like who I see myself in being. And I've gotten to a place where, for example, talking about working out, a lot of people have New Year's goals, if you want to say, get in the best shape of their life, be fit, lose weight, whatever it may be. And for myself, it's been a lifestyle that I created over, 25 years working out, if you want to say, remaining the same shape and size. And so it takes time to get there, but I think there's this deeper drive to why we are motivated, why we have self-discipline, why we have these standards. So can you talk about that? Because I know you talk about something called the burn.
Absolutely. I was going to say, I think you're about to say the burn. And so after doing this for 18 plus years, I've had the blessing, and it's always, I say it's a blessing because I always learn so much from the individuals that I have the opportunity to work with and to coach, whether it be in the world of business or in sports, and champions at the highest level in both worlds. Mm-hmm. And what I've identified over 18 years is that the secret to their success, not that why and purpose does not matter, but it's what I call the burn. And it's this underlying fire that ignites your why and purpose on a daily basis that causes you to be disciplined on the days that you don't want to do it, and especially after you win. I love what you just shared, Erica, because it's actually an example that I've never used in teaching the burn for all these years. It's the name of our podcast, from interviewing people all these years about the burn. You specifically said it's your identity. So if everybody's listening, Erica has this vision. This is who I am. This is who I believe myself to be. I'm fit, I'm strong, I'm powerful, I'm confident. That's me. So your burn essentially has become, I see that person. That's my identity. So you seeing that identity is not going to lead to a hot stack of pancakes with extra maple syrup. I can promise you, for breakfast, correct?
Totally. It's, yeah.
So the burn is going to say, if I want to keep that identity, and I always pay attention to the details. If everybody paid attention, which I hope you are, to what Erica's saying, she said, for 25 years, I've remained the same shape, the same size. So for 25 years, you've seen this is my identity, which says I'm going to live a certain way. Now, I happen to be very disciplined when it comes to nutrition and working out as well. I love the pancake example because I do love pancakes. I occasionally will cheat and eat pancakes, but it's very rare. And it's probably very rare for you too. And so I enjoy sweets. I just don't eat them. If it's my daughter's birthday, sure, I'll have some sweets. Maybe there's another time I'll sneak a cookie. But I'm telling you, it like never happens. Because for you, what you've told us is there's this idea that's become a burn. And that burn, when you connect to it, there's no choosing to not have standards in your life. There's no choosing to not see, because the opposite of the standard is unacceptable. So I would almost, let me ask you another question. It turns into, we're going back and forth interviewing each other.
Yeah.
It's probably for you become unacceptable to eat pancakes. It becomes unacceptable on a Tuesday afternoon to go have chocolate chip cookies as dessert for your lunch. Is that right?
Yes. And I would say because I know too much about health. It's basically like, I mean, honestly, we talk about standards. I think standards is a big thing because I have this high standard for my health. Like I want to be the most optimized I could possibly be, especially when it comes to my health, because I do believe health is wealth. I've had struggles in my health before. Actually, I'm even battling something right now. And so now I'm taking it to a next level. Now I'm doing what is necessary for me to get to this next level. And I think that is just my standard I keep setting for myself, just because this is health is number one for me. Look and feel good.
So let me ask you another question. So when you say that standard in your health and now you're elevating to the next level, because I think this is important for people to hear. So this is now we're doing some coaching work together. So this is important for people to hear. What would be an example of some changes you've made? What are some of the different decisions you're making every day?
Okay, so I'm actually struggling with an autoimmune disorder that flared up again. And so what I'm doing is functional medicine testing to get to the root cause of why this is happening. Because again, as we were talking about, I already have healthy habits in play. Like I already know what's bad, what causes inflammation, what to remove, and I take all the supplements, but there's still something happening. So I know that, okay, let's take another approach. I'm going to get to the root of why this is flaring up. And so I can remove it and then again, optimize my health from there. And so that's the big change I'm taking. I'm also on an anti-inflammatory paleo diet to remove those inflammation triggers. So I'm just, I think when you have a certain goal or a certain standard, Dr. Google, just, type up like, what are you looking for? And you're going to get, deeper clues to how you could then take it to the next level. That's what I'm doing personally.
So you are a wonderful example of why I wrote the book, The Standard.
Love it.
Because I got to the point, having done this work for all these years, where you'd watch a team win a championship and the coach hosts the trophy. And how did you do it? Oh, it was the standard. And people would say the standard, but they didn't necessarily know what it meant. It was a cool statement, like, oh, we do things to the standard. Now, those champions could probably tell us what the standard was, but a lot of times they just say it to say it. Or somebody, their goals are, I've got new standards this year, but they can't really tell you what they are. They just think it sounds good because they heard it on a podcast. The reason why I wrote the book is for people to be empowered to establish clarity. So when I asked you that question, you clearly said, my diet has changed. I'm attacking this from a science and study standpoint of my body to understand, why is this happening? So your standard is, I'm going to attack the science, I'm going to attack my diet, and I'm going to try different things. There's specific disciplines that have become your standard. I love hearing that, Erica. No wonder that you've had success in so many years, and why people love following you and listening to your messages, because you are an example. And I would just encourage those that are listening, and I'm not saying this to be in your face because I can't see you anyway right now. And I'm not one of those individuals that calls you out. So this is like one-on-one coaching between you and I. If you're listening, please stop making excuses. Stop saying that you want to change your standard. Just do it. And maybe for you, there's little eyes in your home, back to the burn, that are watching you, and you want to, and it's time for you to be a better example for those little eyes. Or maybe there's somebody that sacrificed for you, and you're saying, I'm tired of wasting the sacrifice. My parents had 3 jobs apiece for me to be able to establish my future in my life. How could I waste these days? Or maybe it's like me, where my mother passed 11 days before my 8th birthday. She was 38 years old. I'm 45 years old, and I've been given 7 extra days on earth that my mother never got. I'm not wasting a day. And that's my burn. So I encourage you, connect to your burn, stop making excuses, and look at an example like Erica. You're listening to her show. Follow her example. Become more disciplined, and you'll start winning more in your life.
I love that. Thank you so much for your words. But I think self-discipline is an act of self-love. So if you want to cultivate self-love, self-confidence, self-respect, you must be disciplined. You must set certain standards, certain non-negotiables in your life, because that is literally like mirroring back what you feel about yourself. And so I would love if you could talk about the winner's mindset. Like, what needs to change with our mindset? You probably touched on a few of these things, but like, for the people you work with, top elite athletes, top performers, what would you say example of a winner's mindset? How do they think? How do they move? How do they prepare for their days? What are some non-negotiables they all have?
Yeah, so I've been teaching a concept for over 15 years called Your Prize Fighter Day, and it's part of your mental toughness playbook. And it's a playbook that's been purchased, downloaded over 1 million times.
Great.
And it's powerful. It's literally the 6 mental training tools that I use in our work with in the coaching work in sports and in business. Your Prize Fighter Day specifically breaks down the decisions that you need to make personally, professionally, and in your service to others every single day. And I found that the highest performers, everybody may not call it a prize fighter day. You find, having taught it as many years as I have, there's a lot of people that do call it that. But people understand, here's what I need to do personally every day, and I'm going to do it. Here's what I need to do professionally every day. And winners spend more time attacking the process of what they know is going to cause them to win than having undue pressure and stress on the results that they can't control. And they clearly understand that with high levels of uncommon discipline and doing the extra work that I call the unrequired, that others are unwilling to do, the byproduct is winning at very high levels. So they don't get stressed about the results. They know the results is a byproduct of this uncommon discipline met with the unrequired to do a little bit extra.
So good. Yeah, there is something different about people that are, of course, the high successful athletes, high achievers. Like, they do have something different about them that the normal people are missing. And so I would love to talk about, what do you feel is the problem most people have, and what would be the solution that everybody needs to hear right now to really maximize, to reach their goals, to achieve, a more authentic confidence in themselves, and also just be able to tackle each day with vigor, passion, and purpose?
Perfect question. And you're the first person that actually asked me this question by actually acknowledging problem. So many people, they run from the problem. I don't want to talk about the problem. I don't want to talk about the problem. Let me just talk about the good stuff. And so it's amazing that you just framed this that way. On page 24 in my book, The Standard, that came out last year, there's the 4 P's of the standard. The first P of this process that takes 2 minutes a day to connect to, 2 minutes a day. The first P is problem. And there it goes. Erica, this keeps happening to me. I'm a technology guy. I can call an audible. This AI crap is driving me crazy. So for those of you that are watching this, like on video, these balloons just went. I don't know what the hell the balloons are. I got to get with my technology team to get rid of these balloons. But here's what's that?
No, that was just so funny because if you're watching on YouTube, you'll know what he's talking about.
You'll know the balloons. And actually, we'll do it again. So if you do the peace sign, these balloons start going up. It drives me crazy. I haven't even gotten to the best part of the 4 Ps and we got balloons going already. So I'm going to keep my hands down because I talk with my hands, which I learned from my mother, so that crazy stuff doesn't start happening on the screen.
It's funny.
So there's a problem. I just created a problem with my hand gestures. So the first P is the problem. And I'm a huge believer. It's why I'm glad you brought this up, Erica, that you're either in the middle of a problem right now, you just made it through a problem, you're about to step into a problem, or here's the biggest problem that people don't talk about. You've been winning. One of my favorite questions is, how do you show up after you win? Far too many people get seduced by success and they create the problem of stopping their disciplines that have caused the success when they win. They create the biggest problem they could. And so sometimes we're facing an actual problem. And so what I encourage, or you're creating the problem through winning. So I always encourage people 2 minutes a day. Imagine if you can picture this diagram on page 24, you've got problem, planning, performance, and payoff. So the first P, to start your day, I say, what's the potential problem I'm going to face today? And then the second P is planning. What are you going to do about it? What are the action steps or the disciplines I need to take to silence the problem or to remove the problem? So you may say, I need to do this personally, this professionally, and this in my service to others today. The performance piece, which many people miss, and I know you know this, Erica, as often as you're having conversations like this. People know what they need to do, but then they choose to not do it, which just exacerbates the problem. So the next level of your success is actually simple. Identify the problem, plan out what you need to do, and then the performance piece. I'm sure you all are figuring out. These are simple concepts to own your mindset. The performance piece is just do what you say you're going to do. So you planned it out, just do it. And then when you get the payoff, don't be seduced by success that you won because you did what you're supposed to do. Recognize the payoff is confirmation that the process is working. So just wake up the next day and repeat the process. 2 minutes, connect to the problem, plan it out, repeat the cycle, and that's how we all can win more and drive more higher levels of consistent winning in our lives.
I love that because I think as you were talking about, a lot of people, when they win, they're like, okay, and they like settle back and then they kind of step away from the process that actually continues the cycle of winning. And it's really interesting how that happens with people, that it's almost like, and then, it's almost like a wheel turning, like it takes more momentum to get it started. But once it starts turning and turning, that momentum kind of carries through and you don't have to put as much effort. But when then you stop, imagine what you need to do again to get it started again. And I think that concept alone is just like, people remember, like, I know for myself, I took 2 weeks a pause on my podcast at the end of the year. And I did this the year prior as well. And I do remember like getting back to it. It's a little bit more challenging because you've kind of like chillaxed on this and so I do know that, but luckily, I get excited when I do this. So if I have something I'm excited about, it's easier to start again, but I think continuing after you win is really a great advice. I think a lot of people need to hear. So let's talk about, what do you feel, because I want to honor your time, if you were to name just like, I don't know, 4 powerful things we should all add to our day as non-negotiables that really will set us up for success. And that means, again, just getting a goal or building confidence or just feeling good, maybe just like being our best self. Those four
Yeah, so
things we should all do.
it falls in line with this concept of your prize fighter day, which is three things, and then I will add the fourth.
Perfect.
So the first one, which would be the fourth, is your relationship with a higher being. And I'm not going to tell anybody what to believe for politics or what to believe for religion, but I've been through so much pain and challenge in my life. I still have two coaches. I'm reading books every day. It doesn't matter who you read about that I'm working with or I've coached, or many people don't even know the people that I coach behind the scenes. I still have coaches. I'm still working on me, but I also believe that there's a higher power. So I'm a very faithful man. So I connect to my faith every single day as part of my morning routine to make sure that I stay grounded and I surrender to the higher power that's actually there to help me fight to be my best self every single day. So my faith is very, very important to me. And then every day, I believe you do have to choose something personally that you can do. You know, we live in a world, whether it's politics, the news, whatever it might be, where people are saying there's no balance. You either have this or you have that. And people create these belief systems that you can't do things that are personal and business and serve other people. And we've become conditioned that I only can focus on my business right now. And so you see these people who are worth, $100 million, and they're so out of shape they can't even breathe when they walk down the street. If that person had the discipline to create $100 million, I promise you in the same day, they have the same discipline within them to be in shape. They're just not choosing to do that. So you have to create these priorities, which Erica's alluding to, which goes back to that prize fighter day. So I have faith, and then personally, what are the things you need to do personally so you can look in the mirror and say, I won today? Because for me, winning is not these championship rings that you see behind my head on the screen, or the amount of money I've helped Fortune 100 companies or Fortune 10 companies generate. Winning is your ability, every individual, to look yourself in the mirror one day at a time and say, today I gave it my very best. If you can do that and be honest with yourself, drive relentless, ruthless, uncommon accountability to yourself, and you do what you know you need to do personally, you do what you know you need to do in your business, you actually serve other people, you help make the world a better place every day. Everybody can do those things. And for me, you remain faithful. You are going to make more money than you could spend. You will have more success. You will win more in your life. It goes back to what I was saying earlier. Stop focusing on the scoreboard. Stop focusing on the things that you can control and focus on the disciplines that you can control. Silence the noise, silence the politics, silence the media, and do the things that'll cause you to win, and watch how you show up and win in your life.
Powerful. Love it. Okay, so I'm just going to close off with my last question. But before we do, where could people learn more about you and get more of your powerful wisdom? Of course, you mentioned your Burn podcast, which I'll plug in right there.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And, bennewman.net is our website. At Continued Fight is social media. So that's Instagram and X. And so please stay connected. I mean, I'm on there engaging. I'm posting. If it's a regular post, that's me posting. If it's a video post, that means our technology team and our creative team is involved. That's not me, but I'll respond. I'll engage. I have this desire to carry on my mother's legacy to go serve 1 billion people. I can't do that by myself, so we have an amazing team. I pour my passion into my work every single day, and we'd love the opportunity to keep attacking on this journey with you.
Perfect. Okay, closing question I want to ask you. And I mean, you've already shared so much wisdom, but I'm just going to ask you, if you were to share a piece of the wisdom, a life lesson that you've learned along your journey that you just feel you need to shout out to the world, what is that piece of wisdom and lesson people need to hear today?
It's the greatest life lesson I've ever learned, and it came from my mom. It's not how long you live, it's how you choose to live your life. So everybody this year in 2024, choose to be more disciplined, choose to believe more in yourself. And when adversity strikes you, because I know it will, lean in and attack it and go make this your best year ever.
So powerful. Love it. We all need to hear that. Okay. I also want to plug in here. I'm probably going to get the date wrong, maybe even the name, but I don't think so. So we were talking about before we hit record, our good friend Amberly Lago has a summit called the Unstoppable Life Summit, I believe. And
April 20th in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, and Ben Newman amongst John Gordon and of course Amberly Lago, most powerful speakers, taking the stage. It is going to be absolute fire. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be there. I don't want to miss it. So I'm just going to plug it in there. I'm going to leave a link also in the show notes because I want everybody to see this man speak in person. So
you all need to go here. I mean, Amber Lee could have a stage by herself with none of us, and everybody needs to go hear her because she has a passion, a fire, an amazing story. And it's no wonder that the two of you are connected. And I appreciate the time with you and your listeners. And yes, please come see us all in Dallas.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Ben. This has been a true honor. And I just thank you for all you shared today. And everybody, go follow this man. He has so much goodness to really just take away every day that we could create more discipline, standards, and more fire in our belly to go after our goals. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Erica.